if I look at these flowers here, the first thing I notice is they're not round, they're more elliptical. And if I talk to you about an ellipse, I'll mention to you that there's a major and a minor axis in an ellipse. Okay, the major axis is the long part of that ellipse, and the short part is called the minor. And if you get those things right, where the widest part is where the coincides, and put a 90-degree angle where the bisecting minor axis is, it's usually where the center of a flower will be, or the hub of a bicycle wheel. So a flower is not much different than a bicycle wheel if you think about the spokes coming out of it. What I hope will happen through the course of this DVD is that you'll learn that the thing about an artist is not how to hold this pencil. It's how to notice what you're looking at. It's to see. Okay? So if you start taking nature and finding things that make sense in it, the axes of an ellipse may sound like math, but it's an important thing to get that flower skewed and angled in the right direction. In nature, there's a lot of things to notice, and it depends on how detailed you want to get. The arrangement of these petals can be broken down into that ellipse again, or in this case it's more circular, and the spoke-like features of these petals are the first thing I do, obviously in a lighter pencil, but I'm trying to show you so it shows up on camera, that these spokes might be the first thing I'm looking for. If a leaf is folded or a petal is folded and there's two halves to each section or each petal, then it's okay to draw that line and leave it, but not in every case will that happen. And then I'll take and flesh out that petal once I've found out which direction the main part of it is. Think of the center to the point as being your goal when you start and stop the pencil. And then the rest will be just to fill it in, to build whatever contour or outline shape that you want to think about. Continuing on with flowers, I wanted to show you maybe two more examples. If I look at this particular flower, again, I want you to notice the major axes of what would be known as the ellipse here. And I try to incorporate most of the petals into that. If one hooks out of the plane that it's on, that's fine. And remember again that the minor axes, which we don't see but is perpendicular to this particular flower, will be something you'd include also. Think of a strawberry, a cone that's got a softer top on it, as a way to simplify that shape. If you want to, at this particular point, put the petals on, again, aim them from the center and think about their orientation to each other and the gaps in between it. Do this lightly so that you will be able to put more of the energy on the outside of the lines, because right now we're talking about a linear drawing. It's going to look like a Mexican hat maybe, but that's the whole point of this. These simple shapes can be found in everything, so by putting that hat-like feel to this plant, you can change your mind and maybe do a sombrero one day, okay? But the negative shapes, the spaces that are left over, are something else that I use when I'm drawing. So take a look at the shape itself of the plant and its location, but also the other parts. I'm going to try to line this up approximately. And what I'm going to do is draw the negative shape, that area that's not the petal, it's more the background. Those are areas to really concentrate on if you have any trouble working with that actual positive shape of the petal. Sometimes just drawing a whole bunch of these negative shapes will let you end up with a flower anyways. I prefer this kind of pencil. Believe me, when I'm in the jungles, I'm sitting with a little pencil like this doing a lot of drawing because I can get a lot done quickly. But I noticed when I was in Panama this recent trip studying the harpy eagle that the paper just wouldn't take the pencil very well. So any talk of an eraser was out of the question because I switched to pen, and it was a more permanent and less forgiving, let's say, medium. Drawing with a pen will force you to think simple shapes because you don't have much time to correct things, and you want to get as few lines as possible. So if I continue these outside of that shape, I basically have a flower done just by drawing the negative shapes. In this example, what I wanted to do is get away from the ellipse and just show you how simple triangles could be. If I wanted to take and put this particular plant down quickly, I'd be thinking either the triangles that are on the outside or, oh, ran out of pencil lead there. And that would be a way to concentrate or break down that particular plant. Now, if I wanted to continue, I'd make sure that those lines all originated from the center. I just didn't want to confuse you with too many lines because we are trying to simplify things. And the outer lines all converge from these three triangles here, will converge on the center also. And in this particular center, whatever happens, the pistils and stamens that come up will not be in the center, but they all originate from that middle.